introducing some of my students today, and as you always know, I'm always proud to have the kiddos come here and represent our school. They always do a fantastic job of doing that. And I didn't have to give them any instructions really on what I wanted. I just said that you're gonna come and read your essay. These are the winners. This year, Larry and I worked with Mr. Gahagan, our English teacher, to get the Rotary essay contest going again. Now we're doing it a little bit differently. We're kind of doing it on our own locally and offering the prize money as opposed to doing it through the whole big organization, but it's still the same idea. The students were to write about the Rotary, what Rotary means to them. And so they did that, and then choices were sent. I gave them to Larry with a number so that nobody knew the names, and a committee, I don't even know who was on the committee, selected the winners, and they're here today. I, beforehand, would like, Mr. Gahagan would like to say just a couple words there to everybody.
As a teacher at the high school, I just wanted to thank the Rotary for this opportunity. I don't think that students on a competitive basis have the opportunity very often to express themselves, especially through writing. And I was excited when Mr. Countryman came to me with this opportunity, and I proposed it to all of my seniors and sophomores because those are the grade levels that I taught, and I was surprised to see how many students were interested. One thing I can say about students at Hicksville schools is I have run into some of the best writers I've ever run into in my career at Hicksville, and I was really excited that they had this opportunity. So thank you to the Rotary for offering this opportunity to these students. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, we'll start with the fourth place winner, and that was Nolan Methvin.
Yeah, so as Mr. Countryman said, my name is Nolan Methvin. I'm a senior at Hicksville. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, I started with the world of today is much different than before. Even with within the span of just a few years, so much has changed. So much new technology has been introduced, so many social and cultural changes have taken place. However, one thing that remains constant is the way that people behave. Although times have changed, people have not, and that can be perceived as either a positive or negative aspect of society. In order for people to progress not only as intellectuals, but as human beings, they must learn to grow spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. That difficult and arduous journey towards self-improvement begins with self-reflection, and there are many questions one can ask themselves to see where they stand. Not only can people help themselves, but they can also help others. The path towards becoming something greater than oneself is most certainly not an easy one, but in the end it is all worth it. Nowadays, it seems as if honest people and ideals are hard to come by, especially with the way modern-day media portrays the world. While yes, there are horrific aspects of the world that are truly gut-wrenching, there is so much good as well. Something people need to do more often is search for the good in the world and in turn search for the truth. Honest people build honest relationships, which help to build honest communities. Asking oneself what the truth really means can broaden one's perspective and allow them to gain sight in many different dimensions. Ensuring that the truth is being shared can only encourage personal and professional growth, and it can be unequivocally attributed to the positive results a person will see not only in themselves, but in the people around them as well. Within the world of today, it seems that almost everyone has a warped perspective of what the word fair truly means. It is almost as if the word fair is used in a negative way for many when one feels victimized, but in the eyes of all, it has a slightly different definition. Since the word can be perceived in various ways, the word compromise can be directly linked to the subject of fairness. To many, fairness and compromise go hand in hand, where the only time anything is truly fair is when both parties are dissatisfied. Now, there are also times where both parties agree, which is a beautiful thing, but when there is an intense dispute, compromise seems to be the best form of fairness. In regards to fairness concerning people on a more personal and social level, late civil rights activist and United States Congressman John Lewis said it best. He said, if you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to do something about it. Everybody has an inherent sense of right and wrong, and when events that are blatantly wrong are taking place, it is a duty of the bystanders to intervene. With that being said, on a social level, the concept of fairness is much more straightforward than it is in politics or business. Results of honesty and fairness are truly beautiful, and they can especially be seen in the form of relationships with others. Improving relationships with friends is not only a necessity in the professional world, but also in the day-to-day lives of people. Relationships are what make people who they are, and it is one of humans' sole purposes in this world to look out for others. Contributing to the all-around well-being of people in general can make a genuine display of the benevolence of a community. Without other people, life would truly be an empty and meaningless void, so why not be a light in the lives of others? Why not lead by example and show the rest of the community how to treat others and how to go about relationships? Once again, without these relationships, life would be miserable, so why spend time tearing others down when there's only so much time to build others up? Especially in business or in any facet of the professional world, mutual benefit among people is always a concern. To achieve a certain level of all-around self-benefit, it is imperative that people work together. The satisfaction of all people is oftentimes a difficult feat to achieve, but let it be certain that with a great amount of collaboration, anything can be resolved. Time and time again, the themes of togetherness and unity can be directly correlated to these concepts. These core values can assist people in improving themselves while also improving their peers. In order for humans to continue to succeed, growth within oneself and growth within the relationships present are essential to reach the highest possible level of happiness and joy within whatever communities the person is a part of. At the end of the day, the obligation of human beings is to be there for each other and help each other out in all the different possible paths life can take. Thanks.
Nolan's parents are Galen and Mindy Methvin. Galen serves as our board president. Not that that had any effect on who won or anything, nobody knew that, so thank you, Nolan. And third place was Brooklyn Wright.
Okay, I'm Brooklyn Wright and I'm a sophomore. Okay, how can I improve? How can we as a society improve? I think these two questions are things every human being thinks at least once in their life. This world needs so much improvement in the things people think, say, or do. How can humans essentially be better? The four-way test goals solve this problem. The goal is to make the world a better place, to practice the virtues of critical thinking and ethical decision-making, and to develop public speaking and leadership skills to positively influence and inspire others regarding an issue they find passionate, mine being mental health. The things we think, say, or do, is it always the truth? No, of course it's not always the truth. Not everything you see on the internet is true. About 40% of the web is fake. It says studies generally suggest that year after year, less than 60% of the web traffic is human. Some years, according to some researchers, a healthy majority is a bot. This shows that most of the things on the web are not true. Social media is the whole other huge percentage. You may come across someone's Instagram page and see only pictures of them and where they traveled to, but is that all they do? Probably not. They're probably sitting at home watching TV right then. Studies show that a huge amount of social media is fake. More than 40% of the news shared on social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter was found to be fake. Is everything fake though? No. Not everything is fake on social media or the web, and it definitely shouldn't be, but that's how it is. The things we think, say, or do, is it fair to all concerned? No. Nothing is fair in life. Participation trophies are fair, but not everyone can get an MVP. A change of perspective is always an option, though. When you're facing something that seems unfair, ask yourself this. How can you shift your perspective? Think about someone else who has gone through something similar that can help you with that perspective change. When the tables are turned, you'll be able to help others navigate the system too. They're saying that a change in perspective can be healthy for handling unfair things in life. Finding a different perspective of something unfair could also mean taking a step back and thinking, you can get this next time. LinkedIn also says that to think about the good. Where you water, the plants will grow. Are you going to be growing weeds of unfairness, despair, or misery? Are you going to be growing gratitude by focusing on what you have? We can't put off happiness. We have to learn to be happy now. Even when things are less than perfect and life is not fair, we are foregoing our character through the heat of our trials. This shows us that seeking the good in bad things could be a good thing for handling this. In the situation of getting a participation trophy and not getting an MVP, you can see that it was good that you got a trophy in the first place. The things we think, say, or do, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Not everything we think, say, or do will build good for the people and build better friendships. Social media actually seems to ruin friendships. Medical news today says excessive social media can negatively impact quality time, create conflict, and reduce relationship satisfaction, whether the relationship is romantic or not. During a 2021 study, researchers used Instagram and the app's time tracking capability to learn more about the connection between social media and relationship satisfaction. They found an increase in Instagram usage led to a decrease in relationship satisfaction. This expert is telling us that studies show that social media has ruined the relationships between two people in this study. It said that they found Instagram usage led to a decrease in satisfaction and caused a lot of conflict and negative outcomes in a relationship. The things we think, say, or do, is it beneficial to all concerned? No. Not everything will be beneficial to everybody, and that's just life. Not everything is fair. Not everyone thinks very positively about some things. According to healthguide.com, social media causes negative effects on the mental health and does not benefit most people. It says, while each has its benefits, it's important to remember that social media can never be a replacement for a real-world human connection. This shows that in-person interaction shouldn't be replaced with social media, but sometimes it is. Many people have replaced real-life social interactions with online relationships, which causes problems. Social media seems to cause depression, anxiety. It can make you feel lonely, which none of these attributes are positive, beneficial, or contribute to a healthy lifestyle. And the things we think, say, or do don't always have to be bad. In this life, there are many positive things to focus on to have a happy, efficient life, but in this generation, some of them are not focused on. People tend to keep their focus on their phones a lot of time, which leads to the things we think, say, or do not being true to ourselves or others, not fair to all concerned, does not build goodwill or friendships, and isn't beneficial. Getting off of social media for a few hours would really be beneficial to younger generations and to those who have a future world upon them. However, social media could also really help with some of the 4-way Rotary test goals. These goals are to make the world a better place, to practice virtues of critical and ethical thinking and decision making, and to develop public speaking and leadership skills to positively influence and inspire others that they find passionate. I'm passionate about this mental health and things that affect it, where social media plays a big role in this. Social media is not only bad though, it can be beneficial to the human mind. Some positive effects of social media are online friendship building, such as connecting or reconnecting with others. It could help those who don't seem to have a voice in public find their voice on social media and have the confidence to talk to others. Not everything spread on social media is bad, but there's a lot of positive things in the end. So what can we really do to be better people? I think we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture of things we think, say, or do, and try to make sure that do these 4 things. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I gave some examples of how it hasn't been truthful, fair, good, or beneficial. However, I think this future generation is bright and they can do exactly what the 4-way test asks. I feel that they can make the world a better place to practice the virtues of critical thinking and ethical decision making and develop good public speaking and leadership skills. I strongly believe that this generation can inspire to make a better life for everyone. Thank you.
And second place was Ava Methvin.
As Mr. Countryman said, I'm Ava Methvin and I'm a sophomore at Hicksville High School. The things we think, say, or do have a profound impact on our lives and how we react in certain situations. In this essay, I will address the four-way test. By understanding these key four concepts and applying them to our everyday life, we'll gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Is it the truth? Have you ever been influenced by someone else's choices? Personally, I have. For example, as a teenage girl, I spent way too much time scrolling social media. But when you see people posting pictures of their so-called perfect lives or expensive vacations, it might not be the truth. It may be far from it. Why do we compare ourselves to others? It is simply the human nature to compare our lives to others, but is doing so healthy? This research done by a psychologist at Yale shows that it isn't as wonderful as one might make it seem. People who regularly compare themselves to others may find motivation to improve, but also may experience feelings of deep dissatisfaction, guilt, or remorse, and engage in destructive behaviors like lying or disordered eating. Comparison is a thief of joy. Live your life based on your truths. Is it fair to all concerned? To me, I am one to believe that life isn't fair and it never will be. I have been through very few battles in life, but the few I have gone through have taught me amazing lessons. But being fair to all won't eliminate any hardships. Many times it worsens them. In many situations, you want to make sure everyone involved is content and happy with the choices being made. It's not always easy to keep everyone happy. For example, in the United States, the government sometimes makes choices based on votes only. Say 99.9% of the time someone won't be happy about said choice, but the other 0.1% is happy. Most times, it's better to be the bigger person and just get up and move on with your life. Being fair to all isn't an easy task. I was raised to know nothing in life will be fair. You have to work for everything you want in life. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it ties to being fair. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Oftentimes, having goodwill not only makes life easier, but it makes friendships easier too. For example, as a U.S., we have many ties with other countries. If they break pacts, all trust will be broken. Essentially, if Americans just blew up on the other countries, we would essentially fall apart. Henry David Thoreau stated this: "Language of friendships is words, not meanings. It is therefore our responsibility as humans to create meaning in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions. Overall, you should do everything for the best. You never know what someone could be going through at the time. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? No, I do not believe that everyone will be happy. There is no way on earth to please everyone all at the same time. For example, gambling. Gambling is a huge risk. When people go to gamble, they're running a bigger risk, not knowing if they will earn a reward. They both present a possible gain or loss. You aren't going to win every time, but you also aren't going to lose every time. It is a matter of luck. Not everyone is going to be happy with the result that lies in its fate. Applying the four-way test will better our everyday lives. America has slipped away. We have stretched far from these core fundamentals. Veering away from this could be one of many causes why America is so divided today. The world we live in is always going to be the world we make it. No one is coming, it's up to us. In life, it is always a matter of providing yourself and your abilities, be the best you can be. Following these 4 simple steps can also benefit you in ways you didn't even know. It will make you more mindful, considerate, and understanding. So let this be your motivation and simple guide to making better decisions. Thank you.
And first place was Josie Smith.
Hi, I'm Josie Smith, and I am also a sophomore. Do you have a motto in life that you follow, kind of like the golden rule? In the Hicksville Rotary Club, they abide by the rules of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I personally think everyone should follow these rules while walking through life. Saying the truth leads to trust and respect. If it's fair, it creates less arguments and makes life more peaceful. Also, you must ask yourself the questions: if what you might say will build goodwill better friendships, and be beneficial to all who are involved. Doing this will cause you to be more cautious of what you might say and or do, and build a better reputation for yourself. First, it is better to tell the truth than to lie. Lying gets you nowhere. As a kid, if you get caught in a lie, you usually get grounded or punished in some way. This also applies to adulthood. If you're an adult and tell a lie in the workplace or to your spouse, you lose a friendship, or even worse, the respect. Sometimes you can even lose your job. Why risk your whole career with one lie? You might think it is easier to tell a lie because the truth is harder to tell. In reality, there are many more benefits to telling the truth. Putting your pride or fear aside and telling the truth can gain your respect and show you're a reliable person. You want people to look up to you instead of looking at you with disappointment. Nobody wants to be known as a liar. Secondly, before you talk or do something, you should think, is it fair to everyone? If it's not fair to everyone, it can lead to arguments and fights. If people don't feel like something is fair, they will complain and people will get angry. Sometimes that anger can lead to physical or verbal fights. If you're a boss of a company and you're not treating your coworkers fairly, they will revolt against you and drive you out of the job. For example, thousands of nurses in the 1980s walked out because they weren't getting fair pay. This caused less patients to be treated, which created more deaths. This would have never happened if they were paid fairly to begin with. Treating everyone and everything fairly will make people happy and not feel undervalued. Also, people should ask the question, will it build goodwill and better friendship? You should say things that lift people up and strengthen your friendships. If you don't think before you talk, you could say something very hurtful and that could ruin bonds. You do not want to be known as a person who bullies people, because nobody wants to be friends with a person who doesn't treat them well. You should want to be known as a person people can count on to lift others up and as a friend to all. In the Bible, Thessalonians 1:5-11 applies these ideas by saying, therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact as you are doing. If you apply to a job, they will check your background and ask around about you. You don't want people to tell them that you're mean and will tear other employees down. This will cause you to not get the job since no company wants an employee that doesn't get along with others, who in turn would be the staff. It is better to be kind and build better friendships than to be rude and have nobody. Lastly, you should think, will it be beneficial to all involved? If you ask yourself this question and you find out someone is getting the short straw, you should change it. Even though something might be beneficial to 95% of people, that 5% does matter, and you don't want to see them struggle. Those 5% that were negatively affected by you could have a family to provide for or are suffering from mental health issues. You could have just made their life 10 times worse. You never know what a person is going through, and if everyone is benefited from something, you might have just made their day. You shouldn't be a person who has more hardship and challenges to a person's life. You should want to find a way to benefit all. All in all, the Hicksville Rotary Club has the kind of rules that would make the world a better place. I think everybody should follow the 4-way test. Before you talk, you should think, is it the truth? Is it fair? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to everyone? There is so much hate in today's times, and by following the 4-way test, you can make a difference in the world. Even though it might be a little one, you're still making a positive impact on somebody's life. Isn't that the goal? Thank you.
Thank you. After hearing those 4 essays, you see why I'm always proud of our kiddos. They do a great job. Thank you very much. And congratulations on winning. And hopefully, Mr. Gahagan, we can do this again next year and have another group participate. So, any other comments or concerns before we leave? Thank you, Bryce, for taking the bucket to the school for me, and we'll close with the pledge.